You're with the Breaker Leggers, and we are in London at the Menier Chocolate Factory
to see the play Kiss of the Spider Woman.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs.
Whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Keep up to date with the latest theatre and be part of our Leggers community, then please comment below, subscribe below, let us know what you're seeing so you can share your passionate stories of theatre just as we are.
That's right, we love hearing about what you've been up to, so just let us know.
Let us know, comment below. So, we're here at Menier Chocolate Factory, and we've been here before, but this is the first review we're doing from here. Did it used to be a chocolate factory?
Yeah,
is that how it started out?
Exactly, the clue's in the name really. It used to be a chocolate factory before sort of trading hands and usage and what it became, and it's now a wonderfully intimate and really dynamic theatrical space. We have seen stuff here before we became the Leggers. Most recently we saw Buyer and Seller, which was a one-man play.
Funny Girl with Sheridan Smith started here as well.
And
Assassins.
Yeah, the Jamie Lloyd production of Assassins, which was phenomenal. Also caught that. But yeah, first time here. We're here for And the Moon Grows Dimmer.
Kiss of the Spider Woman. However, this isn't the musical version. This is a new adaptation. It's actually just a straight play.
Yes, by José Rivera and Allan Baker. By as you mentioned, an adaptation of the story by Manuel Puig.
Which is quite interesting you saying Rivera, because the musical had starred Cheetah Rivera. That was a big star vehicle for her. So it's going to be very interesting.
She won a Tony Award for that.
She did. She won a Tony Award. It's going to be very interesting seeing it stripped back. Only a cast of 3 in this.
Yes, but what a cast it is. Playing the role of Molina, we have Samuel Barnett. Now, you know Samuel Barnett from...
Where do I know him from?
From History Boys.
Oh yeah, he was great in History Boys. He got a Tony Award when it went over to Broadway, in fact, for that role.
He did.
You like him for something else as well.
I like him from the BBC comedy 2 series of Jonathan...
Harvey.
Jonathan Harvey.
First time I've got names right.
Yeah, it is. I would say Jonathan Harvey's BBC comedy, and he played the older Simon Doonan in that, and I adored that show.
What is it called? Beautiful.
It's just called Beautiful People.
Beautiful People.
And also he's recently been in on Netflix, the lead in Dick Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is still going and is widely popular.
I'm not sure if it's any good. If you've seen it, let us know. Comment below.
He's done a lot of theatre. He's wonderful, and also the gorgeous Declan Bennett. He was the original Guy in Once in the West End. He has recently been in the Olivier-award-winning production of
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, which was at the Regent Park Open Air Theatre, and also starring Tyrone Huntley. That he played Jesus in that.
So a fantastic voice, I imagine.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't seem as if it's going to be put to use here, as it's the straight version and not the musical version.
Yes. We also have one lady in the cast, Grace Cookie Gam, playing the warden role. So the story, what do you know about the story?
What do I know about the story? Is it set in some kind of Latin country? I know it's set in a prison.
Yeah,
2
Latin
characters,
American prison.
Very opposite ends of the spectrum, and they meet and this relationship ensues. But I'm basing this on my knowledge of the musical again, so I'm not actually sure how much that is based on the text, on what this is going to say.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out in an hour and 40, because this is one act straight through. We'll see you at the end.
So we've come to the end of Kiss of the Spider Woman here at the Menier Chocolate Factory. So what did you make of that?
I thought it was okay. I thought there was some really strong production elements within this production. Something that the Menier does really well, actually, and our experience of it is immersiveness, is theming the space that you are within, of breathing the air and really being felt to believe the environment that you're in. Now they did that with Barnum, where they themed the place as a circus big top. They did it with Assassins
as well, yes.
as a fairground.
It's a very small, intimate venue as well, so you can afford to do that. I think it's almost quite flexible. It's almost one of those Dorfman spaces or Young Vic spaces where these creatives come up with these big ideas and like, oh, we could do this and do that, and there's no people. They're just like, yeah, we can do that, and so they make it happen.
Yeah, and those bits, as I always love here at the Menier, I really, really loved. Great use of lighting and projection. We'll come on to that a little bit more detail later. But the story and the script at the heart of it all needed a strong production for me, because if I'd have read it and at certain elements watching it, even surrounded by that production, I was bored.
It's interesting you should say that, because I think the root story is, there's not really much there, really. There's only 3 characters in it, but it's basically about 2 characters in a cell. That's it. And knowing the musical, you can break out into these bigger production numbers, and it keeps it rolling. And also thinking about it, you've got also other characters coming in. You've got the mum and the lover and the guard and other prisoners in certain songs, and you've got also José Rivera playing the Spider Woman at certain stages, and this leading actress, and recreating these. So much going on. However, when you've only got a cast of 2, it then becomes about the 2 actors, the relationship of them. Now, when they did break out into more cinematic moments where he's trying to describe the cinematic scenes that he's seen, or he's kind of creating in his mind as well.
As an escapism form for both of the characters.
It was really nicely done,
yes.
And I could see how that concept works. I felt as if there was enough going on. You are asking a lot of the audience, I think, in one sitting of it, as I'm thinking as well. Not that I want to compare it to the musical, but I do have something to compare it to, but at least it breaks it up. However, it was a big ask.
Yeah, but that being said, some of the most thrilling and interesting pieces I've ever seen have been 2-handers, 3-handers, small cast stuff. I love that sort of stuff, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse to scapegoat the script onto, because for me, it could have been even more interesting. It's the written word on the paper that I'm struggling with. It's not the production, and it's not the strength of the performances, although I liked some more than others. It's just the bare bones of it all are, for me, the weakest link.
Which is an interesting thing as well, because the bare bones are kind of like the core original part of it, because this is an adaptation. It's very modern in its retelling, in its use of language. I don't know what you thought. They were using modern language in an old piece that is...
I mean, it's 1970s originally. The calendar on the wall was 1975 in the cell.
Okay.
So, mid-70s. Yes, you're right. I suppose there were some colloquialisms that were more modern and more recent than that, which struggled to place it a little bit, to make it more relevant, I guess, to today's audience. That being said, again, I'm still lukewarm about it.
Okay, so let's go to some of the performances.
Yes, some really, well, in particular, one really beautiful performance.
Which, considering it's a cast of 3, is quite a standout.
It is. Molina, played by Samuel Barnett. Beautiful, well-timed. There's a real subtlety about it, which was strange because it is somebody that's very flamboyant and over the top, but his insecurities and his vulnerability was beautifully played.
Yeah, he is just a great actor.
Yes.
He has a vast majority of the text as well, because he's got all these beautifully descriptive scenes that they use the projection to, and then within the scenes he's also playing multiple characters as well, with the voices and the accents and the demeanour of them, from like the main leading woman that he wants to be to the kind of leading man. It's really nicely presented. I really bought into it. I thought he was a real joy to watch. I understand why he got the Tony for his work when he was over in Broadway.
For a different piece and a
different
different production.
But still, I understand he's a fantastic
he's a great actor
that is worthy of recognition, whatever the hell it was that he was in.
Be recognised. Also, Valentin, played by Declan Bennett. Problem is, when you've got such a small cast and you're directly comparable to your other leading man, as it were, in this case Samuel Barnett, you've got to be bloody good to reach those sorts of heights. Now, I've not seen Dec in anything non-musical before. I understand that he was in EastEnders, and he played the role of, you know what, Charlie Cotton, one of Doc Cotton's family. He was in it for a while. I don't watch EastEnders, I don't have time for soaps, but you know, I'm sure he's great on screen.
Okay. Well, I actually thought, I know you disagree, but I thought he did well in this. It's tricky because it is the other character, Molina, that is the animated character that has the bulk of the text. Whereas on the other hand, is it Valentin? He's very much just grumpy for the best part of the show. He doesn't want to be in for the best part of the play. He doesn't want to be involved. He doesn't want any part of this. He is a trapped tiger in a cage, bursting and wanting to get out and be involved in the revolution, and he can't, and he's wounded, he's been tortured, and he's ill, so it's very difficult as a contrast. I thought as a butch man, you know, being I am man
Alpha
kind of character, he suited that. I thought he was cast well, and he played it well. Well, we'll come on to it. I have got something to say, but we'll come on to it in a bit.
Also, Grace Cookie Gam as Warden, serviceable.
It's tricky again because it's a small part.
Fine.
Not much you can do.
Yeah, it was fine. You know, I could see anyone in that role.
Yes,
fine.
She did well with what she had.
Yeah.
I was going to come on to the bit about the. I don't know what you thought about the kind of how quick this relationship developed into quite a
let's talk about
quite
theme for a second. So it is at its heart a gay piece, an LGBT piece. I understand from what you were saying it has historical accuracy in terms of the life of the writer.
I think there's elements of autobiographicalness in terms of what was going on in the country the writer came from, Argentina.
An uprising politically, and also how they treated gay people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have the character of Molina, who is a very seemingly confident and comfortable with his own sexuality person. And then you have the heterosexual sort of opposite of that in the role of Valentin. As their relationship develops, they become, spoiler alert, so maybe come back to this if you're planning on seeing it, but they become, for want of a better word, romantically... Intimately. I would say physically, a physical relationship with one another. Now, I have slight issue, take sort of chagrin to that a little bit, because it comes very quickly, very suddenly, and it almost undermines the idea that a heterosexual man can have a platonic relationship with a homosexual man, because before you know it, they're screwing.
I would say maybe this is your own personal gripe with that type of story.
Maybe.
I think this stuff does happen. It's well documented. I can't think of the exact name for it, but you know, sexuality is something different to sexual behaviour, and depending on the social environment and the availability of a physical partner, people can adapt physically to satisfy their sexual needs without actually changing their sexuality. And I think that's more what the Valentin character side is coming from. I don't think that's... Whereas Molina, sexuality is very obviously a gay man.
I could understand that, and I could accept that if it was something that seemed to stop as soon as Valentin is not in that situation anymore. But it seems to be that the ending certainly implies that they were in love with one another, and you know, to take that physical relationship they had because they were a product of their circumstances, and then say, actually no, we started having a physical relationship with each other, but now my sexuality has changed and I'm in love with a man, when there was no seed of that prior to that point, is a leap for me.
See, it's almost to me a bit like Stephen Sondheim's Passion, in terms of how that relationship forms at the end between Fosca and I can't remember the other character's name. Please comment below and remind me. But it's more like what the other person has done for them. Like in this, in terms of Molina, what Molina has done for Valentino, like looked after him, cared for him, and it's like he was blind to the kind of how much that person had cared for him. So that kind of sits. Also, correct me if I'm wrong or comment below, but I'm sure in the musical that this is a bit more clearer. The reason that the kind of straight character gets with gay characters is because that he realises he's going and he wants this letter to be delivered to this political revolutionary party, and he knows that that will only happen if he kind of gives himself up to him. But then I'm not sure if then it also then actually he does then that's kind of the catalyst that makes him go that extra step, which I feel as if we didn't have today. But that makes more sense in the musical. It came out of nowhere, I think, in the play. It's just like,
Sideswipe.
This is where I'm going today. I've suddenly just decided that I've woke up and hey, let's go for it, which is almost out of character.
Yeah, and I understand that that's the story. I just think if you're going to adapt it, you've then got artistic license to play with it a little bit. And if that is the key story, if I got hold of the book personally, there were certain moments and things and themes that I would want to expand on, and there were certain moments and themes that I would want to sort of detract away from, and I don't think the right decisions have been made.
But that's Lego Simon's personal choice. Decision, opinion. I have a different opinion. What's your opinion? Let us know. And that is just on the themes of the play.
Yeah.
And before we go, we should also talk about direction.
Yes, direction by Laurie Sansom. I thought it was great. I thought he has had a real grasp of the space that he's working in and the strength of the actor, certainly in Samuel, that he has there at his disposal, and he has shaped the production around those two things, the flexibility that he has with regards to the opportunity that Menier provides, and also the actors.
Yeah, small space, moved well within it. I loved as well how they broke out as they started to, as the relationship did develop, how their minds were more free, it added to this escape idea.
Designer John Bowser, just loved the set. The set
lovely.
Is beautiful,
Yeah,
absolutely encapsulating, really just lovely, absolutely lovely touches. Lighting designer Paul Anderson, we've liked Paul in some other work he's done. This house, for example, great lighting for that. He also has done, as I'm frantically looking through my programme, Pacifist Guide to the War on Cancer, Everyman, here at the Menier, Little Shop of Horrors, Torch Song Trilogy.
So he's done loads.
Good.
And he's very good.
Good.
Yeah, and you can tell some really nice touches, really nice set design as well.
And finally, I think with regards to creatives, Andrej Goulding, I hope I pronounced that right, as their projection designer.
Really nice projection design.
Yeah, he did projection design for People, Place and Things that we really liked. He's done Groundhog Day, and I believe he got at least a nomination for that, for Groundhog Day. Oh, he won the first Theatre and Technology Award for Creative Innovation in Video Design, and was nominated for the What's on Stage Award for Video Design for Groundhog Day. He's lovely.
So he's obviously the one to go to.
Yeah, right now.
This is why. So I guess you are probably wondering how many legs we are going to give Kiss of the Spider-Woman playing here at the Menier Chocolate Factory.
For Kiss of the Spider-Woman, we are going to give 3 legs. Now, are you happy with that? Because I think it was touching 4 for you at some points.
Yeah, no, see, I do like the piece, and I thought the main guy, I thought he was great, beautifully acted. I thought it was a nice tale. I thought they did well. I loved the set design. If we could go 3.5, I would have gone 3.5. Not to say that 3 isn't bad.
No, three's fine. 3 is a
good.
perfectly, worthwhile trip to the theatre.
Especially for the leggers as well.
Yes,
so,
it can be quite harsh.
But you would say a 3 for sure.
Yeah, I'm set with a 3. The weakness is in the script. and there's not a lot you can do from there. You know, that you can dress it up as much as you want. You know, you can roll a turd in glitter, but it's still a turd.
In Lego Simon's opinion, who are you going to agree with, Lego Simon or Lego Nathan? Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we're the Breaker Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!